أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to make plurals, both the musanna, that is the double plurals, and the jama salim, so 3 and more than 3 in number. Alright, so let's get right into it. Okay, so in the previous lesson, we had very briefly discussed this concept of musanna, jama, and how jama salim and jama mukassir are different from each other. And very briefly, we had just studied a couple of examples related to the rafa suffixes, both for the musanna as well as jama salim. All right. Today, inshallah, we are going to study the suffixes, and we are going to learn how we make plurals. All right. Alright, so first we are going to study the suffixes for musanna. As you can see, okay, so for masculine musanna, we have the suffixes of ani and aini. Alright, now ani is for rafa forms and aini is for nasab as well as jar forms. Alright, now ani, aini, aini. Alright, both of them are beginning with the fatha. All right, now remember this point because this is going to come in handy when we are doing the conversions. Okay, so ani and aini, of course, you can see that they are beginning with fatha. All right, now the suffixes for feminine musanna are tani, taini, and the letter behind this suffix should carry a fatha. All right, in most of the cases, if you'll see these examples. All right, so it would be easier for you to understand when we are doing those examples to visualize this. All right, mostly it has to carry a fatha, otherwise you may find some other words that do not. For example, bintani. All right, so it's the musanna of the word bintun. Now since we already have a ta over here, we do not need to add another ta. All right, so that's a different and a totally separate discussion. Okay, here what we need to know is that for the feminine musanna, we have the suffixes of tani and taini, and once again they are beginning with fatha. Okay, so ani, aini, aini, tani, taini, taini. All right, next we have jama salim. For jama salim, our suffixes are una for rafa masculine, okay, and ina for nasab and jar. Okay, so una, once again, now look, this is beginning with the u sound or the dhamma. All right, and this one is beginning with a kasra. All right, or this zir. Okay, e sound, so una, ina. Okay, now remember, these are the only two that begin with a harkat other than your fatha. Other than these two, all the suffixes are beginning with a fatha. Alright, so for rafa we have una, and nasab and jar we have ina, masculine. Okay, and for feminine we have the suffix of atun and atin. Atun is for rafa and atin is for nasab or jar. Nasab and jar actually. Okay, so this is what I would want you to just remember at this moment. Ani, aini, aini, tani, taini, taini, una, ina, ina, atun, atin, atin. Pause the screen for about 30 seconds or so and try and memorizing these suffixes, and then we will proceed. Okay, now we are going to make our first musanna derivative. Okay, so this is suffix ani. All right, what do we do? For example, if we have the word muslimun, all right, and we see that we have our suffix, our tanween over here. All right, and we are going to convert this wahid ism into musanna in rafa. Okay, so our first step is to replace this tanween with a fatha. Why a fatha? Because our suffix is starting with the a sound. Alright, it's starting with a fatha. So we replace this tanween with a fatha. And let's do that. And then we add the suffix. Alright, musli, ma, and then ani. This is our suffix. Alright, so it will become muslimani. Now this portion is a suffix one. Okay, this is the suffix, and this fatha is the fatha of tanween, fatha of the suffix, and that replaces the tanween. Okay, that's how. Muslimani. Similarly, if you got two pens, okay, what would you do? If you have the word qalamun, one pen, all right, make its plural, musanna, double plural. What would you do? You would replace this tanween with a fatha, and then you're going to simply add the suffix. So it would be qalamani, qalamani. Okay, qalamani, qalamani. All right, two pens. Okay, next we have aini. Now aini is your suffix for musanna, nasab or jar. So same example, muslimun, all right, singular, and you're going to first replace this tanween with what? With a fatha. Why a fatha? Because this suffix is also beginning with a fatha. Okay, so you simply add this tanween, this fatha over there, and then you add this suffix. So it's gonna become muslimaini. All right, so this fatha is right on top of this meme. Muslimaini, two Muslims, but either rafa, either nasab or jar. Okay. Now, of course, this muslimun is in rafa form, and we are making it nasab or jar form. If you want to, okay, let's do it otherwise. So if you have the word, for example, qalaman, qalaman, all right, qalaman, a pen, but wahid and nasab, and you want to convert it into nasab or jar, musanna, then what do? You simply remove this tanween and you replace this tanween with fatha, all right, and then it becomes qalamaini after adding the suffix. All right, qalamaini. All right, qalamaini. That's what. So now you can appreciate what's happening here. What do you see? You see the rafa and nasab and jar suffixes for musanna, ani, all right, and aini. Okay, then you get muslimani for rafa, muslimaini for nasab, muslimaini for jar. Similarly, qalamani, qalamaini, qalamaini. If you have the word kitabun, it would be kitaban, kitabun, kitaban, kitabin for wahid. Then for musanna, you would have kitabani, kitabaini, kitabaini. Okay, that's what. Okay, next suffix, una. All right, now it's beginning with a dhamma. Keep that in mind. Okay, so once again you have the same example. You have the word muslimun and you want to convert it into jama salim. Okay, and what would you do? You would simply remove this tanween and you would replace it with a dhamma. Why a dhamma? Because our suffix is starting with the u sound or simply a dhamma. Okay, so it's going to be muslimuna after adding the suffix. Okay, muslimuna. All right, I've written the harkat over here, muslimuna. All right, okay, now while we are doing this jama salim thing, jama salim is used mainly and almost only for the human plural, for the aqil asma. All right, you do not say kitabuna for the plural of books. For ghair aqil asma we have jama mukassir. Okay, so that's why I gave you only this example, muslimuna. All right, so for the people plurals, for the aqil plurals, jama salim is used. Okay, and not the for the غير عاقل asma, you use jama mukassir. Okay, ina. What's up with ina? We have the same word, muslimun. Alright, okay, muslimin or musliman, whatever. But let's just say muslimun. Okay, that's the standard word. So we have muslimun, and we want to now, which is, by the way, as you can see, is rafa. Okay, so we want to change it to its Jama Salim in either Nasab or Jar form. What do? We simply remove the tanween with, and we replace it with a kasra. Okay, and why a kasra? Because our suffix is starting with a kasra. So it becomes, after the addition of your suffix, it becomes muslimina. Okay, quite easy. Let's see what's happening here. Now you can appreciate and observe what's happening here. So you have your suffixes, una for masculine, ina for nasab or jar masculine, and we have our examples: muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina. Similarly, mu'minuna, mu'minina, mu'minina, salihuna, salihina, salihina. All right, so that's what. But not kitabuna, kitabina, kitabina. Okay, because ghair aqil asma get their plurals with jama mukassir, not jama salim. Last one. No, second last one. Okay, then we have Atani. This is, as you can see, this over here, this is the telltale sign of a feminine noun, and our suffix tani is for musanna, feminine asma. Okay, so for example, we have the word muslimat. Okay, our first step would be to, of course, you do know at this stage that this round ta or timer buta does not attach in this way to the next letter. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to convert this round ta into a regular ta. Alright, and then you're going to repeat the same steps that we did earlier on. Okay, so what you're going to do, you are simply going to open up this ta and right here. Okay, and then you're going to replace this tanween with a fatha. Okay, and then you're going to proceed with your suffix. So it's going to become muslimatani. Muslimatani. Alright, now, alright, so this fatha is for this and this fatha is for this. Okay, muslimatani. Similarly, mu'minatani. Let's do it again. Let me write it here. Matani. Okay, two submitting feminines. Okay, not females but feminines. Alright, next you have the suffix for musanna, nasab or jar, feminine. Same thing, we have muslimatun or tan or tin, and you want to convert it to musanna. What do? You simply open up this ta right here. Okay, and then you remove this tanween and you replace it with a fatha. Okay, and then you add the suffix, so it's gonna become muslimataini. Muslimataini. This is your suffix part. Okay, tani, taini, taini. Let's see what's happening here. Rafa. Now this is feminine, and then we have rafa suffix atani or simply tani, and then nasab or jar ataini or simply taini. For example, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini. All right, great. And then the last one. Okay, now this one is fairly easy. It's in fact the easiest one. We have the word muslimatun, and we want to add the suffix atun. We simply remove this ta, this ta marbuta, okay, and then we add the suffix. Okay, so it's going to become muslimatun. All right, this is what. So with this meme here already has a fatha. Okay, so it comes over here, right? And then you add an alif and the along with the suffix is atun. Okay, so that's what did you do? Once again, you simply removed this round ta altogether, and then you added the suffix, muslimatun. Okay, similarly salihatun, let me write it down. You had salihatun. Okay, it would become salihatun. What did I do? I removed this ta altogether, right? And then I added this suffix over here, like this. All right, and this is for rafa. And for jar, what you have to do is that you have to shift the tanween from here to here. For nasab and jar, you have to shift the tanween from fatha, from two damas to kasras. Okay, as you can see here. All right, so salihatun, salihatin, salihatin. Okay, just like this. Rafa suffix for feminine jama salim. Atun, atin, atin. So muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. Now, remember how I told you that you are not going to use jama salim for ghair aqil asma? Well, let's study this example. Jannatun, a garden. Is it aqil or ghair aqil? Ghair aqil. But of course, remember how I also told you that most of the time, almost always, this Jama Salim is used only for aqil, and by that I mean that there is only a couple of examples, or very few examples, where ghair aqil ism is also made by Jama Salim root. Okay, and this word Jannatan is one of those ghair aqil asma. It means a garden, by the way. Okay, so what's gonna happen? You are simply going to remove this round ta, and you are gonna do this Jannatan. You're gonna add the suffix Jannatun, gardens. Okay, so this was our lesson about plurals. Now I'm sure you can understand exactly what's happening here. This is what we have already studied. Okay, so we had our ism for wahid. All right, we have, for example, muslimun, musliman, muslimin, muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin. Then we made its musanna. How did we do it? For example, if we have the word muslimun, we simply replace the tanween with the harkat corresponding to the suffix. It is just a fancy mix of words for saying that if your suffix is beginning with a fatha, use a fatha for replacing the tanween. And if your suffix is beginning with a dhamma, as is the case here, you replace the tanween with dhamma. If your suffix is beginning with the kasra, as in this suffix, then of course you're going to use your kasra for replacing the tanween. Okay, so that's all that it means. And then you add the suffix. Okay, so you get muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. For feminine, you get muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini. And of course, we have studied exactly these portions, for examples. Okay, and then you get muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina, jama salim, masculine. Then muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin for feminine jama salim. Okay, so what you're gonna do is a little practice. Okay, pause the screen and make all these derivatives of the word siddiqun. It means truthful. Okay, one who tells the truth. Siddiqun. Okay, and you can find the 4 characteristics of ism over here. You've got Arab over here. Okay, and you've got number, singular. All right, first one is for singular, second one is for musanna, third row is for your jama. Okay, and then you've got your gender, grammatical gender over here. Masculines first, then feminines, then masculines, then feminines, and finally, first of all, you've got the status of nakra. All right, and then you've got the status of marfa. So according to these, make the derivatives, and then you can look at the answers over here. Okay, and match them. Well, with this, we are going to end our lesson. I promise you, this is going to be the only longest lesson in this entire series. Okay, I can see it's about 19 to 20 minutes. But since I gave you the entire concepts of entire concept of plurals in this single video, and I hope that I have succeeded in it. I can say that it was worth it. Okay, so I hope that you have understood all these conversions, and you can now make up the derivatives. This entire thing, by the way, this is called declension. Okay, so I'm sure that you can now make these declensions on your own. In the next lesson, we're going to practice a couple more nouns for their declensions, and then we are going to proceed to some Jama Mukassir patterns. Okay, till that time, Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'anil Hakim. Allah Hafiz.